Baie hartlik welkom by die Allied fietstoer in die Suid-Kaap wat oor 4 dae sal strek en altesaam 518 km sal insluit. Dit is 7 skofte waaroor meegeding gaan word en daar is nie minder nie as 61 deelnemers aan verjaar se fietstoer. Die gunsteling, Willie Engelbrecht, is weer in posisie en hy sal sommer gou wil wys dat hy weer die geeltrui wil hê in die proloog, die eerste van die skofte, eintlik net om die geeltrui wenner te bepaal. Saam met my mede-kommentator Johnny Koen.
Super sprinter Kurt Verleiden wins this ahead of Stephen Wallater and Neil Crossway. Kurt Verleiden will wear the yellow jersey in today's stage up the mountain.
Net 3 kilometer waaroor die proloog gestrek het en daar ook een van die gunstelinge Steven Boliter wat in die stadium lekker vars lyk vir die lang 6 skofte wat gaan voorlê.
That's Kurt Verleiden with the prized yellow jersey, which he will have to wear and try and defend at all costs in this year's Allied Cycle Tour. The riders signing on, last-minute preparations there. Everybody's sunglasses are polished and they're all set to tackle the strenuous Allied Cycle Tour.
153 kilometer waaroor die tweede skof strek en dit is van George na Oudtshoorn terug na Mosselbaai en dit sluit 2 bergpasse in, die Outeniqua pas en die Robinson pas en Johnny, dit is gewoonlik 'n baie moeilike skof.
Indeed a very difficult stage which traditionally used to be run the other way in this tour, and I think this is the first time that they have circumnavigated this one in the opposite direction this year.
Na hierdie eerste skof het 'n mens ook 'n baie goeie aanduiding van wie die koning van die berge gaan wees, want dit is 2 bergpasse en daar is geweldig baie koning van die berge premies wat hier gewen kan word.
We have a couple of great climbers in this year's tour, Graham McCullum, we have Tiens Mulder, Robbie McIntosh, Andrew McLean, and of course Stephen Wallater, as well as Mark Biernacker being potential kings of the mountain.
Daar is ook 'n hele paar voormalige wenners van die Suid-Kaap fietstoer. Willie Engelbrecht wat hom 2 maal gewen het, Mark Biernacker 2 maal, Andrew McLean is daar, so dit kan 'n baie opwindende fietstoer word. Hier is daar die 2 maal wenner Willie Engelbrecht.
Immediately at the head of affairs, Tiens Mulder started showing on the first mountain preem with Willie Engelbrecht keeping a close eye on his rival up the hills. That's the first of the mountain preems there, won by Willie Engelbrecht with Tiens Mulder in second position. Willie looking quite relaxed as they climb the end slopes of the Outeniqua Pass.
Dit is die afdraande pad met Willie Engelbrecht steeds aan die voorpunt, Tiens Mulder wat agter hom sit. En Johnny, dit kan 'n baie gevaarlike wegbreekpoging wees, veral tot voordeel van die Mnet Southern Sun span, want die topsport Fox span se Tiens Mulder definitief nie daardie vaart waaroor Willie Engelbrecht beskik nie.
I think the big fear for the top sport team at this point is the fact that Tiens Mulder can't beat Willie in the 13-kilometer time trial which faces them on Friday afternoon. And because of that, Tiens won't assist Willie in this break, but will merely go along to policeman it. We can see Willie at the head of affairs here looking back. Tiens, no ways he will go through to help his feared rival Willie Engelbrecht at this point in time.
Het is toch interessant dat hy vir Willie Engelbrecht daar so 'n bietjie gehelp het. Waarskynlik vir hom gesê het ek gaan nie verbysteek nie, maar aan die ander kant sal sy spanmaats ook nie baie gelukkig wees daarmee nie.
No, that's part of team tactics that he may not assist with. At the 40-kilometer point into the stage, the lead is now at 1 minute, and immediately the top sport teammates of Tiens Mulder's, Kurt Verleiden, Graham Cockerton and Rob McIntosh take up the chase in earnest. That's Andrew McLean in the green jersey of points leadership, also lending a hand at the front of affairs.
In die stadium jaag hulle dan daar die 2 voorlopers, Willie Engelbrecht en Tiens Mulder. Mulder onlangs die koning van die berge losgeslaan in die Hansom fietstoer en hy is waarskynlik 'n goeie merker vir Willie Engelbrecht vanuit die Volkswagen Fox topsportspan se oogpunt, maar daardie geeltrui wat voortdurend aanval Kurt Verleiden en daardie gaping wil toemaak.
We still see the top sporters chasing frantically now. That's Rob McIntosh using a large gear at the front there, churning it on, and you can see the bunch is in one long thin line, which means the speed's very high at this point. Tiens Mulder now leading Willie Engelbrecht momentarily. I wonder what that's about. That would be against team tactics, Willie using Tiens a little bit here to assist him.
En is baie interessant dat die voormalige Springbok, Johnny Worm, wat die bestuurder is van die span, onmiddellik met Tiens Mulder kom praat en vir hom sê hy moet nie so hard werk af. Hier is dit Graham Cockerton wat nou weer vorentoe gaan.
Teamwork prevails at this point, with the yellow jersey of Kurt Verleerden, a notable assistant at this point of affairs. Graham Cockerton, Kurt Verleerden, going along in the yellow jersey and frantically trying to get hold of Willie Engelbrecht. They approach Oudtshoorn now with Andrew McLean in the points leadership jersey and Kurt Verleerden stirring it on at the front. In Oudtshoorn, we have Willie Engelbrecht and Theuns Mulder a minute ahead of the bunch now, but there's a large convoy that's built up between themselves and the bunch, and eventually this convoy will lead to them being overhauled by the chasers.
Nou is daar al reeds getrap van George na Oudtshoorn oor die Outeniqua pas en nou terug van Oudtshoorn na Mossel Bay oor die Robinson pas.
A hot spot outside Oudtshoorn, Alan Jarvis wins this from Johan Potgieter and the trailing group. Not only is cycling a physical game, but the psychological part of it has a lot to play in the success of a cyclist. Willie Engelbrecht there, wondering what might be today, in the comfort of the bunch, and they feed as they roll along at this point where there's not much action. Alan Jarvis has broken away at the 75-kilometer point and solos ahead. A very aggressive rider, a Canadian who enjoys his cycling in our sunny country.
Wanneer 'n fietsryer so op sy eie trap en alleen voor is, dan gaan daar seker baie deur sy kop en wonder hy hoekom hy fietsry.
Half the time you think this is a really stupid sport. I don't know why I'm doing it. I mean, you think there's some guys that are really superhumanly fit. I mean, some of the pros, not all of them, but on the whole, some of them are really, really very good, world class. And as an amateur, you're just try not to get blown away. Most of the time, you're just trying to survive. But I mean, I don't like to ride in a bunch and just wait until I get dropped off the back. So normally, I'd rather drop myself off, you know, I'd rather attack. And if I get caught, then you're really tired, then your history, and they leave you behind. But sometimes it comes off, and then, so I'd rather do that. I'd rather sort of be more in control of my own destiny than someone else being in control of it.
Net nadat hulle gevoer is dit nog 'n amateurjaar, Clinton Curtis wat weggebreek het, en hom kom aansluit dit by Alan Jarvis. Nou twee amateurs by mekaar voor.
These two amateurs work together fantastically, and at the 100-kilometer mark, they've gained 4 minutes 30 on the languishing bunch. This gives us great hope for the amateur strength in South African cycling, and you can see that if these two riders can assist each other, we are going to see fireworks later in the stage.
Johnny, is dit nie ook 'n geval dat die beroepsjaars die amateurs so 'n bietjie onderskat in die skof nie en dat hulle dink hulle daardie gaping maklik sou toemaak nie?
Indeed, even when the professionals start chasing at the 110-kilometer point, they have a 3-minute deficit to try and close, which should ensure that one of these two riders ends up in the leader's yellow jersey. 13 kilometers from the end of the stage, Alan Jarvis couldn't continue any further and lost the wheel of Clinton Curtis, which leaves Clinton Curtis to wear the yellow jersey in tomorrow's stage.
Mossel Bay wat nou binne getrap gaan word, en dit moet 'n heerlike gevoel wees vir Clinton Curtis om van die ou grootes af weg te ry en man alleen hierdie uitmergelende 153 km skof in te oes oor twee bergpasse, die Outeniqua pas en die Robinson pas, in 'n welverdiende oorwinning waarop hy self baie trots sal wees.
A great ride by the amateur Clinton Curtis.
I must say that I was very lucky to have got away when I got away. And I think in the space of 10 Ks we had 6 minutes on the bunch. So obviously they were going really slowly. And then, so actually lucky.
45 seconds later, the bunch races down the main street of Mossel Bay with Francie Kruger in second spot and Martin Saunders, fondly known as Webster to his fellow professionals, in third place.
Die glimlagte, die is baie breed van die drie manne, maar die ander ryers wat reeds besig is om uit te rus, want daar lê asof die twee bergpasse nie genoeg was nie, nog 'n heuwelklim van 1,4 km voor wat gewen is deur Willie Engelbrecht.
Engelbrecht's flying hill climb time trial wasn't sufficient to wrest the yellow jersey from Clinton Curtis, with Theuns Mulder in second and Francie Kruger in third places overall.
Skof nommer 4. Van Mossel Bay na Plettenberg Bay oor 161,9 km, die langste skof van die Allied Fietstoer. En met 'n wind wat effens van voor is dit die trotse Curtis wat die trui aantrek om te kyk hoe lank hy hom nog kan behou.
161 kilometers face the tired bunch as they leave for Plettenberg Bay. The start quite steady at this point, with the riders rolling along. Andrew McLean in screen. That's Mark Biernacker, Graham Cockerton at the front.
Die 1989 Allied Fietstoer wenner, Andrew McLean, wat baie hard werk.
The riders face a series of bends here before the first hotspot, which is to be decided in the town of Mossel Bay before they leave it this morning. At this stage, the pace quite heavy, but the bunch still not racing along. Francie Kruger, Willie Engelbrecht in the mountain leadership jersey with Tiens Mulder, and that's Wayne Burgess. 17 kilometers from the start, and Alan Jarvis breaks away from the bunch yet again. He now is in the yellow jersey if the time is calculated at this point in the stage.
Mens wonder of die beroepsjaars weer die amateur gaan toelaat om weg te kom, en hier is het weer 'n amateur. Baie belovende Mark Bloot van die Westelike provinsie wat in die tweede plek oor daardie streep trap.
Mark Bloot, known as a very good climber, one of the young talents in South Africa at the moment, and with Malcolm Langer, promises to be one of the great hopes for the future. Alan Jarvis, Mark Bloot sharing the work here and racing along to Plettenberg Bay. The surface gets very bad with the roadworks prevalent, and joined here by a chasing group of Kurt Verleeren, Stephen Wallater, Graham Cockerton and Francie Kruger. Stephen Wallater was sent away by his team manager to nullify the King of the Mountains, or to annex as many points as he could and to dominate the section. We see Malcolm Langer, the other young talent in our sport, racing at the front here, assisting, doing his share of the work.
Ja, hy het vroeër verjaar het hy in die Suid-Afrikaanse baankampioenskappe in Johannesburg al die junior titels herskryf agter sy naam en nuwe rekords daar gestel.
The break works together magnificently. At the 70 kilometer point, they're 6 minutes ahead of the bunch, and at 90 kilometers into the stage, 7 minutes 20. Alan Jarvis calls up for a bottle.
Johnny, dit lyk asof hy te veel aangeval het, veral na gister se 2 bergpasse, en asof hy nou besig is om sy ritme te verloor.
Alan Jarvis, not a man built for the hills necessarily, but an ever attacker, got a big heart and always gives it a full go.
Die bondel hier meer as 7 minute agter die voorlopers, 'n gevaarlike gaping.
Indeed, the yellow jersey now lost to Clinton Curtis. I think he realizes that, as I think would go through the heads of Willie Engelbrecht and Andrew McLean here. And the race is almost run for the 2 pre-race favorites. Into Plettenberg Bay they come, up yet another hill. Graham Cockerton leads out his teammate Kurt Verleeren. Stephen Wallater right between them there, and he streaks away. He races up this incredibly steep hill to go away and to win the stage in magnificent fashion.
'n Solo poging hier teen die einde dan van Stephen Wallater, en die triomfantelike kreet en teken daar van Wallater, en waardevolle punte vir sy span.
A protest was lodged by Graham Cockerton and Kurt Verleeren on the grounds that Stephen Wallater had switched in the last hotspot, causing interference. A distraught Kurt Verleeren explains what happened.
My friend Graham Cockerton lead me out. Stephen went out on the left side, I went out of the right side. The moment I want to pass Stephen, he gave me a hell of a switch. So I've got actually complaints about this. It's not exactly for the 5 seconds. At least it's going to cost me the yellow jersey. But it's just the point that if I don't complain, maybe he's going to do it again with somebody else, or maybe with me again.
If they want to do anything, they can do it. But I'm here to race, not to switch.
Ja, daar's net 13 sekondes verskil tussen Stephen Wallater en Kurt Verleeren wanneer die volgende skof, die 4de een, gaan plaasvind, en vir jaar is daar so effense verandering. Van Boskor na Nysna word daar getrap oor bykans 100 kilometer, en daar word as het ware 'n ompad getrap om by Nysna uit te kom. Willie Engelbrecht in die stadium lyk nie asof hy met 'n 7 minute agterstand daardie geeltrui kan verower nie.
Stephen Wallater preparing to don the yellow jersey, and that is going to be yet another heavy weight on his shoulders as he crosses the Blaukrans and Groot River passes today.
Van die beroepsjaars wat ook nog hulle stemme gaan dik maak in hierdie skof is Graham Cockerton, en dan ook so 'n bietjie verder terug manne soos Gary Beneke, Robbie McIntosh en Tiens Mulder wat ook nog onder die eerste 10 lê.
The riders set off in perfect cycling conditions, overcast, coolish weather and no rain at all. That's Graham Cockerton at the head of affairs with his teammate Andrew McLean. The amateurs again start attacking at the start of the stage, and we can see there Loden Smith with Desmond Steyn attacking on the inside. That's Andrew McLean, Willie Engelbrecht chasing. A lot of attacks early on in the stage.
pragtige omgewing waarin gery word. En die paadjie die is styl en smal en wanneer jy agter in 'n bondel is, dan het jy probleme.
Climbing Blowkrans Pass with Theuns Mulder yet again at the head of affairs. Willie Engelbrecht keeping an eye on him, and Stephen Wallater also in contention. Willie Engelbrecht races along. That's the yellow jersey of Stephen Wallater with Alan Wallater, his brother, leading him, and Robbie McIntosh behind. Lawrence Smith gives the signal, and away goes Gary Biernack on the inside. Francois Otto not reacting. That's Robbie McIntosh chasing with Gary Biernack ahead of affairs.
Dit kan 'n baie gevaarlike breek wees. 3 manne wat weg is hier. En dit is asof die bondel half tevrede is om terug te sit. Veral met Engelbrecht wat die bondel terughou. En skielik is daar 4 manne bymekaar voor 'n uitstekende breekpoging met die topsport Volkswagen Fox span wat so 'n bietjie probleme kry met Theuns Mulder wat intussen 'n lekband agter in die bondel opgedoen het.
For safety reasons, they wouldn't allow the service vehicle through when Theuns punctured, and we can see the confusion that existed there with the rival team Mnet Southern Sun trying to offer him a back wheel.
Dit sal interessant wees om te sien hoe die rooi truie gaan voorwerk in die bondel om daardie gaping toe te maak, want die man wie se trui beskerm moet word is Koert Verleden. Hy moet so na as moontlik aan die voorpunt gehou word en 'n goeie breek hier met Gary Biernack wat dan al die snelpremies kan neutraliseer waar die bonustyd toegeken gaan word.
Racing ahead there again, Graham Cockerton with Andrew McLean, Wayne Burgess. Francie Kruger, who has dominated the entire stage, winning every hotspot on the way as he crosses into Plet again.
Die gaping tussen die 4 manne voor in die bondel, nou bykans 1 minuut 40 sekondes. Robbie McIntosh, die sit bloot agter die wiel van Gary Biernack en Francie Kruger wat aanval met Francois Otto net agter hom buite beeld.
This stage being dominated by the Snowflake Blue Ribbon duo of Francie Kruger and his teammate Francois Otto, who is lending a good hand to his team leader Kruger. That's Gary Biernack keeping an eye on affairs and Robbie McIntosh, needlessly to say, not working at this stage.
Dan is het toch belangrijk dat Robbie McIntosh moet proberen om van daardie tydbonusse in te oes, maar hier gaan hy nie sterk genoeg wees nie. Dis Gary Biernack en dan Francie Kruger wat nog 'n snelpremie in oes. Hy's 'n baie goeie jaar na die lyn toe en daar is hy net voor Gary Biernack en Robbie McIntosh voor.
Andrew McLean sees his teammate Koert Verleden battling. We see him giving a handsling at the front there. There it goes, Andy slows down and brings down rider from the Western Province champion in fact, who is now stuck to his bicycle, dislodged his foot, and now the adrenaline must be pumping through his veins. Gets back on, doesn't look too badly hurt. Instantly the service vehicle's there. They shove him off, there he goes up the hill, and this is the kind of thing that you don't need when the bunch is racing. He seems to have fallen on his jockey, and he has his gear slipping before he gets mobile again.
Steeds 'n pragtige voorsprong deur veral die harde werk van Francie Kruger en Gary Biernack, en dit is die bondel wat al hoe verder agterraak.
They work excellently together, eventually gaining 1 minute 40 seconds over the chasing bunch, and thanks to the Snowflake Blue Ribbon pair of Otto and Kruger. Back in the bunch, the Top Sport VW Fox team senses the danger, and Andrew McLean leads his team of Graham Cockerton, Koert Verleden and Jaco Kellerman of the Handsome Cycles team as they approach Neisler.
Te laat vir al daardie harde werk, want is die 4 voorlopers wat die hoofstraat van Neisner binne jaag. Kyk hoe sit Francois Otto terug. Hy het sy werk gedoen, hy het vir Francie Kruger deurgebring. Gary Biernack en McIntosh wat desperaat jaag, maar Francie Kruger is die sterke lyn toe en hier wen hy die skop.
In the bunch, Stephen Wallater and Koert Verleden resume their rivalry, and again we have problems with switching in the last kilometer. The officials have noted this, and the protests are to follow.
You must speak to this outman. If you don't speak to him, we're going to have to sort it out ourselves here. What? The bloke doesn't give me. Waits for the bloke to come up on the inside and he takes out right across the street to the car. Yeah, Gotchi's going to put it up now again. Second time in a row.
I couldn't even think of passing, man. He's going like left, right, left. He did the whole road with me.
But didn't you say you'd level it yesterday? Why didn't you sort him out in the unorthodox manner?
Yeah, yesterday I tuned to the referees. And they say, but you know, Southern.
Can't you switch him back?
I'm going to do it, with or without officials. I'm going to do it. They can take me out of the race, anything. I'm going to do it again.
I don't classify that as a switch at all. Kurt didn't even contest me in the sprint. He was on my wheel. I went from the right-hand side of the road to the left-hand side. It wasn't as though he was next to me that I actually cut him off. He just didn't have the legs to come past me. He was right behind me. In fact, it was a bike for me. And he complained about that. I mean, the referee saw it from behind. He did his action, and I can say nothing more about that.
The chief referee, Mr. Gotti Hansen, walks away to go and decide on the future of Wallater and Verleerden in this year's tour. Wallater sets off on his time trial, which is an event against the clock, in which lots of time is often made and lost. Kurt Verleerden finishes, this time on Theuns Mulder's spare bicycle, having fallen on a piece of bad road earlier in the event. With all the grazes on the bony extremities of his body, Kurt Verleerden will feel it tomorrow morning. Starts the next stage, he will get up feeling stiff and have to ride himself in before he's able to perform properly again.
Can you come over there when we stay? Maybe I can take first a shower.
After the time trial, Graham got a minute's penalty each, declassifying them to 4th and 5th places overall.
Graham Cockerton en Gary Beneke en Johnny Koen, die geeltruidraer Graham Cockerton. Dink jy daardie 19 sekondes is 'n groot genoeg buffer vir hom om die titel hier te verower by die Allied Fietstoer?
19 seconds isn't a lot of time, and 27 seconds can be made and lost in this particular stage, which is an incredibly difficult finish. It has lots of hills right near the end, and of course the end to George is very, very fast. So I think we're in for a humdinger here. The start at Knysna. Gary Beneke, Stephen Wallater await the start of the stage. Robbie McIntosh and Stephen Wallater have time to fool before the bunch gets going on their way to the finish at George. Graham Cockerton thinks about what might be today. The yellow jersey might be quite weighty up these big mountain climbs. The way they go, and Rob McIntosh gets away indicating that today they aren't going to concede the yellow jersey in such an easy manner. Andrew McLean puffs as he leaves the town of Knysna, and today he will be a great assistant to Graham Cockerton in the defense of the yellow jersey. Early on, the amateurs start attacking, and immediately the Lanco man there in the lead, that is Johan Ribbons, who starts mixing it at the front of affairs. Gary Beneke keeps an eye on things, as does Graham Cockerton in the yellow jersey. The bunch rolls along, and Cockerton will watch Gary Beneke like a hawk. That's his main contender, only 19 seconds behind. At 31 kilometers, a group escapes of Mark Beneke, Theuns Mulder, Mark Wilkinson, Jaco Lewitz, Francois Otto, Johan Ribbons and Henk Scholz. They take the first hot spot in Sedgefield, and Mark Beneke annexes that. The bunch, one long line and quite a fast speed at this point. Theuns Mulder descends in a most aerodynamic possible fashion, keeping up with Mark Beneke. In the red, white and green jersey, Jaco Lewitz from the Eastern Province. That's Johan Ribbons, the Lanco rider, and in the Alpina colors, Mark Wilkinson lending a hand at the front. At Dolphin Point, the break has established a lead of 1 minute 45 seconds over the chasing group, and they all work together. Theuns Mulder climbs the hill, one of the country's top hill climbers. That's Francois Otto, Johan Ribbons following it. Back in the bunch, the racing has started in earnest, with Graham Cockerton clinging to the coveted yellow jersey with all he can. Lawrence Smith attacks on the inside. Francie Krier goes with him. Rob McIntosh represents Graham Cockerton, and Gary Beneke gets across the gap. Graham Cockerton desperately there following and makes contact with Gary Beneke, the lead intact. Stephen Wallater has a go this time. Robbie McIntosh follows. Giving chase there, Malcolm Langer from Lanco. Andre Becker follows. That's Kurt Verleerden in the green jersey of points leadership. Willie Engelbrecht also keeping an eye on affairs. Graham Cockerton quite steady at this point, following Gary Beneke, his main rival in the tour. The lead is 1 minute 30, and Mark Wilkinson pulls them along to the finish, with Mark Beneke keeping an eye on him. Mark Beneke, a cunning competitor and a great tactician, leads out the sprint. Theuns Mulder on the inside, that's Francois Otto in third place. Mulder tries to improve, Beneke sees him coming and speeds up even more. A couple of 100 meters to the finish now. It's Mark Beneke leading this one out, and it doesn't look like they're going to catch him to the finish. Theuns Mulder in second place, and a good sprint of Francois Otto in third. Mark Beneke sits up there. Victory in the last stage of the Allied Cycle Tour for him. A Pat from Tiens Mulder says, well done to Mark there. Mark's worked hard and he's won the stage in great style. The bunch finishes a minute 30 later. Graham Cockerton in the yellow jersey, knowing that he's won the Allied Cycle Tour. Pat from a fellow competitor, Mark Blewett. Cockerton today endured a tremendous amount of attacking from the rival team, Mnet Southern Sons, and thanks to a grand team effort, hung on to the yellow jersey.
Things were okay, the team worked, honestly, it couldn't have gone better. On the two Cat 1 climbs, coming out of Wilderness and coming sort of up the Otaniqua Pass, Gary Benneker tried his utmost to get rid of me. It was just my part. I had to just stay in his wheel and forget about the pain. Coming into George, he tried again, and luckily Robbie McIntosh and Adrian McLean were there to support me, and I pulled through.
A good tour for the Top Sport VW Fox cycling team, with Graham Cockerton winning, Robbie McIntosh and Kurt Verleerden in the placings. Verleerden, after his fall in the time trial earlier, still in 5th place. And with that, back to the studio.